When you think about babies, they do this as well. They mouth objects because their visual system is not developed in its entirety. And when I put something into my mouth, I have a greater degree of sensory information from the object in my mouth, such that it helps me identify what it is.
So when I start working with a child, I need to know that mouthing is not just a motor issue. It's not just a sensory issue. Yeah, this is very important. It is not just motor, it is not just sensory. It could be because of many other reasons also.
It gives me something that organizes me. The mouth is one of the most primal places for all humans across their lifespan to feel the most calm, regulated, and organized.
But a lot of these behaviors which are mouthing are also related to stress. That is how child is coping with the stressful situation. That is a regulatory function.
Worry about what has changed, what is causing that stress, and how can I help my child to cope with that stress. Every time I can't reduce the stress, but how can I make it easy? What are the visual ways that I can support so that the child can transition easily? Yeah,
clarify a few of the things. Like as a pediatrician, a lot of times these all things is common. Like if we consider at least up to age of 2 years, this is quite common. Maybe even up to 2.5 years, we consider it as a common finding because the child is teething. So there are a lot of itching over the gums which is happening. So they find like each and everything, whatever comes in their mouth on the way, they would like to put it in the mouth because of itching. They can't itch it by the hand, so they tend to put everything in the mouth. So considering less than 2.5 years, we consider it as a normal phenomena. But yes, sometimes like as the age progresses, if this thing continues, then we need to work up or we need to find out what are the common problems associated with it.
And what kids do when they're stressed out is they put things into their mouth and they chew. So when they're chewing or when they're mouthing over here or when they're putting things into their mouth, over here if they do it, it helps to load the trigeminal nerve. It helps to provide a very, very, very deep proprioceptive input, which helps to feel more organized to the child.
Sometimes it is like if some deficiencies like iron deficiency anemia, which is very much common. Like this is like low hemoglobin kind of children who have a very preponderance to have a pica, which we call it, which like eating the earth kind of things.
what I'm trying to convey is if a child has mouthing related issues, putting things into their mouth, chewing, nail cutting issues, toenail cutting issues, shampooing issues, combing issues. What are the other things? Not allowing touch, like all of those tactile, not allowing anything on the face. There are so many of those that not allowing different textures in the mouth. They may be okay with certain foods, but not okay with certain foods. These all come under tactile. But if I just work on tactile and provide oral motor exercises, it won't help alone. I have to also check that the vestibular system and the proprioceptive system are working together, and I'm working on those also.
So what all complications are expected? So most common complication is lead intoxication because a lot of these impurities are full of lead. So that is one thing. Another thing is worm infestation. So because वो मिट्टी वगैरह खाता है, तो there are some eggs of this intestinal worms. Eggs वहाँ पर disposed होता है, which the child tend to consume. So then we need to deworm the child. So regularly we need to give every 6 months is recommended to give them deworming medicines.
I always talk of sensory diet, and today it is about the oral sensory diet.
In this scene, I am eating a sugarcane, which is good for my proprioceptive system. This is a roll of a sour punk.
Eating snacks with sour or sweet tastes alerts the oral sensory system. Alerting oral sensory activities can bring more awareness and provide the sensory input kids need to focus and attend better.
These are tamarind balls. They also alert the oral sensory system.
Over here you see some dried fruits. Eating these kinds of things calms down the oral sensory system. Here Neil is holding it into his lips, so he's spouting, which is also a great task to be done for the oral sensory system. Taking out the seeds and throwing it out is also a great task which requires oral motor planning. Eating various fruits like mangoes is another amazing thing to be done for the oral system.
Here I am eating the mango, which is very sour and little sweet. It alerts my system. This is another sticky sour punk. It also alerts my system.
Besides alerting the system, it is also a good task to do motor planning. This can also be done with something like noodles or a Maggi, which also promote oral motor planning. And here we had some dried up fruits which were like really sticky, and you also get those kinds of gummy bears. A lot of these kinds of things would help to promote again the oral sensory system. Licking is another great thing that can be done. When we were younger, we had those frames which we put on our fingers and we could take them off, which is another great task that can be done. Eating onto ice cubes is another lovely task. All this while, if you've seen, the video clips had different tastes, and now we have different temperatures that the mouth can be exposed to. This is another great way to alert the oral system. These are all great tasks, but we have to take care if the child is on a diet, and to also restrict too much sugar, and to also take care of the oral hygiene. I would recommend that you see the dentist interview which I have posted on my channel, which gives you information on how to work on the oral hygiene. And now he is doing the tongue exercises where he's moving the tongue on the left, right, up and down. So another great way to work on the tongue.
Over here I am sucking the ice with a crazy straw. Now I am sucking a thick smoothie with a straw. This is a spirometer. Every time I suck, the ball goes up. This is another spirometer. If I suck slow, only one ball goes up. If I suck strong, 2 balls go up. Here I am blowing a candle. Here I am blowing a balloon.
Blowing and sucking are great activities for the oral sensory system. And it will be a great idea to incorporate these kinds of activities into the day-to-day activities of our kids. It's a great way to work on the oral system. Blowing can be done on so many things, as you would see in the few clips that would follow now.
Here I am playing a game with a tennis ball by blowing it. Here I am playing a game with 2 marbles by blowing them.
And over here, Neil is trying to blow the marble onto a maze which we made with atta or the dough. And it was a great fun task to do. the heavier the ball, the more the effort needed to blow it. So it was another task that we thought which would help.
Here I am blowing bubbles with a soapy solution.
And in the next clip, you would see that he's blowing raspberries, which is a great way to give vibration and to also stimulate the oral system. It can be done just for fun, or it can be done together on each other, which would be a great task to do to have fun. It's like popping cheeks. I'm sure we do this, It's a great way to bond with each other and socially interact. Now, Neil is counting his teeth with his tongue. That's again a great thing. And all this while I showed you all activities which were about the tongue. But midline crossing is another great way to work on the oral motor system. I know it may sound a little weird, but that is how it is. Swimming is another great task. All heavyweight activities which you would see in my video on proprioceptive activities are great ways to work and calm down the oral sensory system.
How I used to work. Oh, oral motor, work on some exercises here. Oh, head issues, give some massage here. Oh, hand issues, like whatever. There's Iram said he touches gooey things. Okay, let him touch something like Play-Doh or what is that? Shaving foam and all of it. But that's not how things work, It's not that simple. If it was that simple, I would have just said, okay, do this. It's not that simple for you.
I used to believe initially that we need to straight away work inside the mouth. And I later learned that that's not something where we start from. While you work with your child, it's not just about techniques. It's not just about doing something inside the mouth or letting the child blow or suck or teaching them to, sip from a sipper bottle. There's so much more than that. Safety is the most important thing that the child looks for. And when somebody just puts their finger into the child's mouth, that trust with the therapist or with the person who's trying to do the technique is broken. So it's very important that while we work on these issues, we are very careful that we are attuning with the child. So we are working not just with the body, not just with the mouth, but with the whole body and with the soul and with the mind and with the emotional system of the child.